Yeah, I'm convinced that Italy is just Croatia with better marketing, because everything is exactly the same. They have gelato, we have slaughtered, which is better. They have a C, it's gross and disgusting. We have the same C, and it is so much better on our side. You walk down any random Italian street, it looks like you're walking down a Croatian street. It's the same fucking thing, but Croatia is better.
Italy even tried to colonize Croatia because they liked it so much.
They did, yeah. And then we kicked them out because they suck. Hey everyone, welcome back to Chef Tyler's Croatian Kitchen, and today we're making my favorite, Brudet. This is something I usually think of as like a summer dish, specifically on a colder, rainier day, kind of like today, but I'm sure you can have it anytime throughout the year. It's just a nice fish stew. And for those of you who've never had fish stew before, I promise you that this will change your mind. Even Kaylin was like, that sounds kind of weird, but she will find out that this is good. So this recipe is my mom's recipe. It is, I have it here written down very nicely because my handwriting sucks. And I folded it up and took it away to Croatia with me. It's probably more of an Americanized version than anything really, because this uses leek. And I guess it's not really a traditional thing, because I told my old lady from the market that I was going to put leek into Brudet, and she was like, why would you put leek in Brudet? So maybe it's just something she does, but I don't care. It's the way my mom does it, so that makes it right. So let's just get right into the ingredients. Of course, we have fish. I have 3 different kinds of fish, and the best way to do Brudet is to have different kinds of fish. So I have branzin or branzino, orado or green, and taglia or red mullet. So these are the 3 fish that I'm using, but feel free to add, sub in, subtract, use whatever fish you want. I would not use salmon or tuna or swordfish or any kind of like fattier fish. A white flaky fish is definitely the way to go. Like I said before, we have leek, which isn't apparently traditional, but that's what my mom does. We have 1 onion that we're going to dice. We have garlic, we'll use like 3 to 4, probably 5 cloves. We have 3 tomatoes. If it's not tomato season, you should use canned tomato sauce, but if it is tomato season, use the regular tomatoes. We also have potatoes, and we'll throw those in toward the end so that they cook just enough and not overdone. We have some white wine. This is Qualitat nel Vino, as it says right on the box. That means quality wine, and you know it's quality because it says so. We have some fresh parsley that we're going to use for flavoring. If you have basil, you could throw that in there too. I'm sure you could even throw lemon in there, but my mom never did lemon, so we're not. We also have flour, and we're going to toss the fish pieces in the flour before we cook them into the pot. And the flour from the fish pieces will also start to give the stew a little bit of starch for thickening. We'll also get that from the potatoes, so we'll have 2 ways of getting starch. So for the fish, we're going to cut these into like steaks. So we're going to like cut them this way, so you have like little pieces, and the bone will be in the middle. You can also do this with fillets. It's the same exact process, you just won't have the bone. But the more traditional way is to use the steaks. We want the bones, we want the flavor from that. We're also going to keep the heads, and we're going to put that in the pot as well. And this is just going to help flavor the stew, kind of like when we did the fish soup episode. We're not going to eat the heads. Bubba always eats the heads, and I don't understand why. I take the cheek, like the meat from the cheek out, because that's like the best part, and then I give her the head, and she eats all of it. She finds like pieces to eat off that thing that I didn't even know exist, and I don't really care to. As long as I'm with Bubba, she eats the head. I've gone ahead and cut up the vegetables, and now it's time to prep the fish. First what I'm going to do is I have a plastic bag here, and I have some flour, a spoon. I'm going to take about, for this much fish, let's say 4 spoonfuls of flour. This is something that my mom says she came up with, but I first saw Nana do it, and I thought it was something Nana came up with, and my mom was very quick to correct me on this one. This was something she came up with to accurately and thoroughly cover every piece with flour. And you can use this for other things too, like Vinsky goulash, Nana's veal sauce, she did it like this as well. Very many ways to flour, or very many meals you can flour in this method. Now we'll cut up the fish. Like I said before, we want to have the steaks. So first what we'll do is we're going to cut the head off. So we'll just move the fin up and cut on this angle, right through the bone. Flip it over to the other side and do the same thing, like this way. And we'll chop that part off. Now we have the fish head. I'm just going to leave it over here for now, and we'll put it into the pot later. The next thing we'll do is now we'll cut off the tail, and we'll also try to take off the fins. This can be a little hard. Now we're just going to go cut into steaks. Make a little cut until you get the backbone, and then just press down through the bone and cut through the skin on the other side. And now we'll take the pieces, put them into our plastic bag. And this is just to get them away from the rest of the fish. I'll go ahead and clean the other two. And now that the fish is all cut up and in our bag, we will tie it closed, leaving a bit of air so it doesn't puncture, the rest of the fish doesn't puncture. And we'll just toss around, trying to make sure we're getting an even coat on each of the pieces of fish. Now we'll head on over to the stove where the cooking will begin. So I forgot to mention this before, but I also put salt and pepper into the bag off screen, shook it up again so we can season the fish. Now I've opened it up so we can easily grab the pieces. And I have this pot to move to temperature. You have the not good olive oil. Well, it's fine, but it's for cooking. And we'll throw a bunch into the bottom of our pan or pot. And once it comes up to temperature, already you can smell it, I'll start taking the pieces of fish and putting them in. Make sure to shake off the extra flour. Well, let's get the fish from here. Pull it out, shake it off. Remember not to overcrowd the pan. And we'll let these cook until they brown on all sides and move them to our side plate here. So nothing really looks burnt, so we're just going to leave the olive oil in there and add the butter. And now we're going to add in the onions as well as the leeks. And we'll saute these until they are tender. And once the onions and leeks have softened, we'll go and add in the garlic. And cook this about a minute until fragrant. And once fragrant, we will deglaze with the white wine. You want to use about a glass worth. And once reduced, we'll add in our tomatoes. And we'll season again with some salt and pepper. We'll let this cook now for about 5 minutes as the salt draws the water out of the tomatoes, and then we'll add in the fish. And once the tomatoes have released most of their water, we will put the fish back in. Ooh, there we go. We'll give a little stir. And this is going to be the last time we stir, because fish gets very flaky and stirring is a rather harsh method of mixing. So from this point onward, every 20 minutes, we'll just take our dish rag, hold both sides, and just shake. We'll also now take our fish heads and grab them and add them into the pot. And then we'll just add water until it covers everything. So that was about 3 cups of water. We'll take the parsley, throw it right in on top. It's fine. And all this now come up to a boil, and once it does, turn the heat down and let it simmer for 1 hour, shaking every 20 minutes. And with the last 20 minutes, we'll add in the potatoes. Contrary to Kaylin's belief, I did get the potatoes to fit into the pot. So once they are for tender, remove from the heat, and it is time to serve. So let's try to get as much as we can. The fish heads have disappeared, so we'll just ignore that for now. And we'll take, oh, I found a fish head. All right, I don't want to eat the fish head. I'm not my grandma. But let's try to get as much fish and the potatoes in here as well. And here we have Brudet. So unfortunately, suffering from the chronic condition of unphotogenicness that all Croatian dishes have, it does smell amazing. And we're serving with sliced bread. Very, very Croatian. We have potatoes in the stew, and we're serving it with bread. So, let's move this around a bit so we can give our taste to Greg. So let's go ahead and get a piece of the fish. Let's get a piece there. And some of the broth as well. And the fish does have bones in it, so be a little wary of that. And here we have our taste for Greg. This is so fucking good. The fish, it's just so tender and like melt in your mouth, and all the aromatics, the portiluk, the leek, the onion, and then mixing with the tomato as well. Like, let's get some potato too. Everyone loves a nice bitter potato. I'm gonna just keep eating this because there's nothing else to do. Of course, some bread. Get in with that sauce. You know, like you still see like bits of tomato. All right, I'm gonna stop now before. Let me just finish this up. Brudet, it's amazing. If you have never tried fish stew, you need to try this. It will turn you. This fish stew, this Brudet, turned a Mongolian into a fish eater, and if it can turn her into one, it can turn you into one as well. This was Brudet. If you like, please hit like and subscribe, and do what it take.
I don't think that's appropriate.
The forbidden fleshlight.
I quit again. Every week I quit.